I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's clear.
Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner. Actually, a special edition. Yep. It's Breeders' Cup. Of course, Drew and I will be going through all the Breeders' Cup races. There's 5 of them on the Friday afternoon program, as well as a whole pile of them on the Saturday.
9
November
on Saturday.
2nd. Yep. So, first race on Friday does kick off at 10:45. It is the Breeders' Cup Marathon, which will feature
Brave Nation,
Gord Christoph and John Snow will be pulling for that one.
And Mario Gutierrez aboard.
Yes, so we won't be touching on that race, but we'll be definitely cheering it.
Yeah,
only a field of 6. It's interesting. It's a mile and 3/4.
There's one campaign looks very tough, but I definitely all rooting for Brave Nation. As Mike mentioned, we're going to go through the 5 on the Friday card. That starts in the 5th race. The post for that is 1:12 Pacific. So normally we're used to the Eastern times.
Yes.
Get a little break here this year with the Pacific Coast times. There's a field of 12 in the body of the race. 5 furlongs on the turf for babies. I'm going to go with a filly. I'm going to go with the 7 Kamari, the Dave Mowat horse, Wesley Ward.
Yes.
Broke her maiden by 15 at Keeneland this spring. Went over to Ascot, just got beat ahead in the Queen Mary. From all accounts, that was maybe her best race. She's come back, won 2 more impressively. The last one, dead last at the head of lane. She's got a big kick. I'm looking for her to keep that rolling. I got her on top. I put the 9 four-wheel drive, another Wesley Ward horse, which is no surprise. He's always deadly with his 2-year-olds. This is a son of American Pharaoh. It was a perfect 2 for 2. Started his career at Colonial, then just won the Grade 3 at Belmont, got an 84 buyer. Wesley, I think, has some good order here. He has a speed horse and he has a closer. And I threw in, never count the Euros in these turf races, the 6-horse Alligator Alley. Joseph O'Brien, that's Aidan O'Brien's son. This one has won some nice races over in England. Blinkers go on today, and like I say, when these horses come over, they're generally well meant. And he's the son of Kingman, one of the top sires in Europe. I went 796.
Yeah, always these races are difficult. You're talking Euros here that have been running at a straight course. Now you're making a left-hand turn.
And all these horses that have incredible form that have never run against each other.
Yeah, it's always fun. I mean, you still need a ton of luck to pick these winners. And I'm going to try and eliminate luck and just get into a horse I know is going to get a good trip, and that's the 9 horse 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Ironically, it's a 5 furlong race, and if you look up and down, there's not a lot of
gas.
In the race.
Yeah.
And so I think the Wesley Ward colt here by American Pharaoh, who of course won the Breeders' Cup Classic a few years back, can possibly get a pretty comfortable lead and lead them wire to wire. Irad Ortiz and very good 2-year-old conditioner Wesley Ward. The horses obviously come out of the Belmont race in fine fettle. 2 good works at Keeneland over the turf course before flying over to Santa Anita. But I just thought this horse could get the lead and really be able to dictate terms. I mean, anytime you have a 12-horse field going 5/8, there's going to be trouble.
There's going to be
when a turn is involved. Not like in England or in Great Britain where they're
running straight.
It's just straight. You always find a lane to run in. I put the 8-horse Dr. Simpson, a Euro from Ireland. I did win last time. That was on a left-hand course, Dundalk. Not the biggest or the highest-rated track in Ireland, but still, the horse has been keeping good company with Alligator Alley. Only lost by a length at York in a minor stake, and this horse is in the picture with that horse. I just like the fact that the horse won with a left-hand turn, does have some speed, and should be close to what I think will be a slow pace. And I put the 4-horse Dream Shot for James Tate and the Rabba Bloodstock, which they're from Dubai, and but this horse has been keeping good company with Dr. Simpson and Ali, who is another one of the top Euros in the race, but just not favorably drawn. But another horse that I thought has done well on a left-hand course. This is a left-hand course at Santa Anita, and I'm going to try 9, 8, and 4, but I just think the 9 4-wheel drive can get to the front and be awfully tough to beat. Okay, on to the 6th race. This is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. They're going to go a flat mile here. A lot of chances in here. The 7-horse Andesite, I thought ran a better-than-looked race. This horse was trapped in behind horses. The eventual winner, Structor, out of the Chad Brown barn. The 2-horse is in the lineup today, but Structor had a perfect trip. Sat 3 wide the entire journey on a slow pace, and then just held Andesite at the wire. But Andesite, I just thought was held up. Really didn't get a good chance to to get clear running until late. He just couldn't quite get Destructor, who was still traveling well at the end of the race. So I like the Brad Cox trainee. I'm going to go with Joel Rosario in the irons, and I'll go with the 7 over the 2. I think those are the 2 horses in here. And I put the 14 horse, Hit the Road, for Dan Blacker and Flavien Prat. This horse looked really impressive with Victor Espinoza winning last time. It was just the Jazuma Beach, an ungraded stake, but still just looped the field. There wasn't a pile of speed in the race, and the horse still looped the field, and that was at Santa Anita. So home course here for him, and I thought those were the horses, 7, 2, and 14. The 12 horse Arizona is probably going to be the favorite, but once again, another horse running on straight courses, has 2 turns to deal with, and just might not be the value horse, in this race. But so I went 7, 2, and 14.
I went to my man Aidan O'Brien. Aidan O'Brien's won this race like
he wins
5 of the last 8 times they've had it, or how many times they've had it. He's won it over 50% of the time. So I'm going to his 2. I'm going to Arizona. It's the son of No Nay Never. Broke his maiden by 8 at the Curragh. Won a grade 2 at Ascot. Good second last time in a grade 1 at Newmarket. This is, his number 1 horse coming in here. And as I said, the No Nay Never English Channel, and his main guy, Moore, is on it, Ryan Moore. I put his other horse, Fort Myers, the son of Warfront, out of a Galileo mare. I expect the Galileos to have an impact this weekend, because they're definitely having an impact in Europe. Galileos are winning everything. Fort Myers, he's coming off a win in the at Dundalk. Mm-hmm. The one you just mentioned in Ireland. And I threw in your second horse, the Chad Brown runner, Structor, in 3rd spot. I mean, Aidan O'Brien on the turf, and Chad Brown is looking like he's going to have a big weekend with his turf horses as well. I went 12, 13, and 2.
But always a tough race. You got 14 2-year-olds.
But you might want to go deep in there.
On a small 7-furlong turf course. It's going to be tough.
No singles there. On to the Juvenile Fillies, mile 16th on the dirt, field of 9. I like the 1, Donna Veloce, the Simon Callahan runner. She's a daughter of Uncle Mo. They paid $800,000 for. She's only ran once. That is not ideal, but on the 20th of September, she won by 9, got a 91 buyer, and just seemed to do it awfully easy, running 116 and 1. So obviously a lot of talent here. I am going with the Fillies. Only ran once. It's a little scary, but I mean, she obviously looks great. They paid $800,000 for her, and she's obviously got a lot of talent. I put the 6 horse, the Baffert runner, Bast, in for 2nd. Broke his maiden in the Del Mar Debutante by 8, and came back in the Chandelier at today's distance, and fought off Comical to hang on and win by a neck under John Velasquez. And John Velasquez riding a few for Bob Baffert this weekend. That's kind of interesting. And I threw in the 4 horse, Brad Cox runner, undefeated, British Idiom, coming off a 6th length win at Keeneland in the Archibald, a grade 1 there. Got an 84 buyer. Castellanos aboard. I went 164.
Yeah, I see the race a little different, but it's that kind of race. I mean, I don't know how tough the Santa Anita horses are, and I just left the Santa Anita horses out of the equation. I went East Coast again, like I did last year with Jaywalk, and I just think they're nice horses back east, and sometimes the California category comes up a little light. I went to the 7 Wicked Whisper, easy win at Saratoga, first time out. Sit down a good number, 78 for a debut effort without even being asked. Came back to win the grade 1 for Zet. Got away with some slow fractions, but I don't see any speed in here. I see the 1 horse, perhaps, if he can repeat. This is a different kind of speed when you're running against grade 1 horses than a maiden race.
And not going 6.5, right?
Yeah. I think Wicked, and either way, I just think Joel Rosario has a good option of sitting 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in a good spot. This horse ran 24 and 4 the final quarter at Belmont. That's good time for young fillies, and 135 and change is a nice effort. Come out of has been at Santa Anita for obviously a few weeks now, because worked twice, and obviously all systems go after the win in New York, and they shipped her right away to Santa Anita for the Breeders' Cup. I like her to win it over the 4 British Indium. Won the Alcibiades last time easily. First time Lasix, and defeated Perfect Alibi, who was in good form, winning at Saratoga as well, winning a grade 1. And I did put Perfect Alibi in behind. I thought those were I went all New York. I went 7, 4, and 3 in here. That's the way I see the Juvenile Fillies. On to the 8th race, Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, a mile turf event. Once again, another guessing game in here, but I did go to the 12 horse Sweet Melania. Pretty easy win in the Jessamine at Keeneland. It was a closer's track. And this horse was out there on the lead and drew away comfortably. Did lose 2 starts back to Crystal, who's in the race, but there were some excuses that day. This horse has just really blossomed since hitting the turf, and Jose Ortiz will be in the saddle for Todd Pletcher, and I just thought Sweet Millennial looked very interesting in here. I put the 5 horse Daye for Roger Vallon and Bill Buick. The horse has been in good form. 3 wins, 2 seconds at Newmarket and the Curragh and Ascot. I mean, he's been racing in the bigs in England, and those are big efforts. Broke his or won a great Group 3 in a 25-horse field there on June the 21st, and but.
Going to need that experience. There's 14 in here.
Nicely drawn here. Post 5, going a mile at Santa Anita if you're not speed is kind of cool. It's kind of a good spot. I'd rather be post 5 than post 11 or 12 if you don't have speed. So I put him in for second, and I put the 9 horse Albina for Mrs. J. Harrington, and Sean Foley will be aboard. 3 out of 4 wins. Won a Group 1 at Longchamp in France, and looks like this filly has some quality as well by Zoffany. This one, Zoffany, the sire, also ran in the Breeders' Cup. Just a lot of good. The Niarchos family bred the horse, and Stavros Niarchos, of course, who's passed away. Their farm bred a lot of nice horses, and Flaxman Holdings have had a lot of nice horses as well. So I put that one in the mix. I thought the 12 was the best of the North American horses, and the 5 and 9, I'm looking at those 2 for the Euros. I went 12, 5, 9.
I'm back to Aidan O'Brien. I love Aidan O'Brien. Well, these turf races, he's always very dangerous in turf races. I went to Tango, daughter of No Nay Never, out of a Galileo mare, like the breeding, just won by 6 at the Curragh. Looks good in here, and gets his main guy, Ryan Moore, aboard. I agree with Daea, the 5 horse.
I know, excuse our pronunciation of some of these Euros. I mean, we might be butchering the names.
We're getting there.
You know who we're talking about.
Daye.
We're close enough.
It's rare you see this, a Euro coming over here with that kind of record, like, because they don't really set them up to win every time.
No, there's a lot of 7th by 9s in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Top quality horses.
Like my top pick, 9th by 3, 4th by 4, then 1st by 6. But this horse has run 5 times. 3 wins in 2 seconds. Obviously, this is an awfully talented filly, and as you mentioned, gets Bill Buick aboard. Daye in second, and I put in Aidan O'Brien's other horse, Itoli, a daughter of Warfront, of a Sadler's Wells mare, again just beautifully bred, and gets broke maiden first start in Ireland, and gets Frankie Dettori aboard. So nothing wrong with that. I went with 8, 5, 14 in the 8th. On to the 9th, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Everything I've heard this week out of Santa Anita is how good Dennis's Moment is training. He's just been wowing the clockers there. Lost his rider, Robbie Alvarado, in his first start. Next start, it was at Ellis, but he did win by almost 20. Won by 19 and came back in the Iroquois and won pretty comfortably again over Scabbard. It was just in hand at the latter part of the race. I read Ortiz aboard, and as I mentioned, everybody says he's just training beautifully over Santa Anita. So I got him on top. I get through Peter Reddicup, Blaine Wright's horse, son of Mandaglia de Oro, that Peter paid $480,000 for. He's only ran once. It was at Golden Gate. It was on the turf. It was in a maiden special weight. He won by 8. Extremely impressive. They're obviously very high on him. He's come back, worked sharply, 59-3, 48-4 out of the gate. Peter does love those gate works.
Loves the gate works.
Loves the gate works.
Another one.
Juan Hernandez aboard. Peter's had a very good year,
Yes.
of course, with another twist of fate running in the Preakness. Paid good money for this horse, and I'd love to see them do well. So I got him in second. And I threw in this, the Baffert runner, 8 Rings. Lost his jock. It was a mess around the far turn in the Delmar Futurity. Other than that, he's ran twice. He's won by 6 both times, breaking his maiden, and then in the American Pharaoh. John Velasquez aboard for Bob Baffert. As I mentioned, we're going to see that a few times this weekend. I went 1-7-6.
I know, poor Drayden Van Dyke got fired after falling off.
You
can't stay on, you're off. You're off. We're getting Johnny V. I went to. It's kind of funny that the 2 favorites are both lost their riders once this year and have fallen.
Yeah, exactly.
But I went 8 Rings. Probably has a little better speed than Dennis's Moment, and I think I might be the key. There is no speed in this race, absolutely none. 8 Rings, if the horse breaks like he usually does, and is going to get the lead in here. Dennis's Moment will be sitting second. It should be a little match race between the 2. These are the 2 most likely winners on the card. I mean, this looks like this race should is tailor-made for both of them. They're both in good form. They're both going to get very good trips, and that should add up to good performances at the end. I put the 5-horse Scabbard in for third. Mike Smith takes over for Corey Lannery. Good second behind Dennis's Moment in the Iroquois last time, and not often you see a horse change names, but he did race previously as a Noose, and they forced him to change the name.
Oh yeah,
Noose.
not terrible. Not a great name.
I guess the jockey club kind of.
It's rare though that you get it through and you run
Scabbard isn't much.
that you
I know
run it
Noose
twice
doesn't have
and
these
then
connotations.
yes,
or Scabbard doesn't. But wow, 615. But the name will sound great if the horse wins
in the winner's circle. That's right.
The Juvenile Fillies. That'll do. We got 6, 1, and 5. That'll do for the Friday edition, the November 1st edition of Breeders' Cup Day 1. Next up on screen will be a quick recap of our 5 selections. There they are. The first race, which was race 5 on the program, was 4-wheel drive for me. I went 9, 8, and 4. Second race, I went to the 7 and a sight. I'm going to go 7, 2, and 14. Race number 3, I went to the 7-horse Wicked Whisper over the 4 British Indian and the 3 Perfect Alibi. Race 4, I went to the 12 Sweet Malenya over the 5 and 9. And then the 5th and final, which will be race number 9, I went to the 6-horse 8 Rings over the 1 Dennis Moment and the 5 Scabbard.
On my picks, there we go. As Mike mentioned, it kicks off in the 5th race, so back in the first of our picks here, but the 5th race. I went to the Dave Mowat horse, a guy who's had horses in Seattle for years.
We got quite a few local
guys
Dave
involved.
Mowat raced under 10 Brock. Won a stake last year with Top Quality here at Hastings. And we got Peter Redekop, John Gunther,
and Gordy Christoph.
And Gordy Christoph and Chuck Fipke.
That's right,
BC guy has Seeking the Soul in the Classic tomorrow.
But I went with the Mowat horse, Kimari. In the first, the 5th, if you will, over the 9 and the 6. In the second, I went to the 12, Arizona, over the 13 and the 2. In the third, I went down the rail, Donna Veloce, over the 6, Bass, and the 4, British Idiom. In the fourth, 8, Tango, over the 5 and the 14. And in the Juvenile, the 9th race, the nightcap, I went to the 1, Dennis's Moment. Heard a lot of good things about him. Over the 7, Ano de Oro. Good luck to Peter Redekop and Blaine right there. And the 6, the Baffert horse. 8 rings in the third.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see one of our local anyone, even Dave Mowat. It'd be great to see him win one of the races.
He's got a farm in Enumclaw, and he's got a farm in Kentucky, and he's raced a lot at Emerald. As Mike mentioned, he won a stake here last year and been a big supporter of the Northwest racing.
Yes, he is, and a cool guy, Dave Mowat, and we'll be cheering for him. As I mentioned, he races under 10 Brock. You don't see his name very often.
This one is under Dave Mowat, but it is 10 Brock.
Most 10 Brock. Well, that'll do it for this Day 1 edition of Breeders' Cup. On behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget, come down to the Derby Bar and Grill. Great place to watch all the races. Of course, it's going to be on the big screen, sound up, get all the coverage.
Friday, come on down. Saturday, you do need reservations. We do have a couple places left. Give us a call, 604-536-2978. We have a couple, two tops that we could fit you into.
Okay, things do get underway at 10:45 with the Breeders' Cup Marathon that features Gordy Christoph's and John Snow's Brave Nation. So please do come on out, enjoy the day. It should be a lot of fun. On behalf of Drew, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time, where we'll see you for Day 2 of Breeders' Cup. Enjoy the day.
I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's clear, can do,